Hello, Hope Church family and friends. This is a very important and a very exciting announcement that we have to bring to you today, so listen up. The last few months have been challenging months for all of us. The process of going into lockdown, the experience throughout lockdown, and also now this stage of transition that we find ourselves in, have all been extremely challenging for different reasons. One of the things that we as believers have missed most is that aspect of meeting together in the same place at the same time, worshipping God, sharing communion together, having fellowship together, and hearing God's word together. Now, we are so grateful for all of those people that have helped us facilitate online services throughout lockdown, and as they continue to do aspects of that, we are so grateful as a church. Even around our nation, the gospel and the word of God has been proclaimed in a way and to people who have never heard it before. So we're extremely thankful for that. But we have definitely missed the physical gathering of the church. As Hope Church, we are excited to tell you today that throughout the month of August, starting on the 12th, then on the 19th, and then on the 26th, we are going to be opening our doors for our prayer time on those Wednesday evenings from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We hope that you can come along to join us for that, but there is no pressure whatsoever on you to do that. We are using this period throughout the month of August as phase one of coming back to church again and gathering together again. And if all goes to plan throughout the month of August, with those smaller gatherings on those Wednesday evenings, we are hoping again to launch our Sunday morning services on the first Sunday of September. Presently, because of the guidelines that are in place and the restrictions that we have on us, we are not at this time launching Sunday morning services. There are certain things that we have always done as a fellowship that we are not able to do presently, and one of the major things that fall into that category is our children's ministries. So we know that within our church we have lots of young families, and our children's ministries that go on here are excellent, but at this time we are not able to have those children's ministries, so that would be one of the reasons that would make Sunday morning services difficult. Also, we want to be able to take a small step before we take a really big step. And we want to be able to ensure that we are able to keep people safe and follow the guidelines that are in place, and to see how that works throughout these Wednesday evenings. And then that will give us a better idea of what is achievable going into September. It's also possible that by the time we get to the start of September, we are going to have a better idea of how our schools are functioning with the children that are there, nurseries and preschools and things like that, and we'll maybe have a better idea as to what we can do in that area come September. So at this stage, we aren't doing Sunday services, but we will be doing those Wednesday evenings throughout the month of August. Some of the things that we are going to need to do to accommodate those Wednesday evening gatherings effectively is, number one, we are going to need you to notify us that you are coming on those evenings the day before. So that will involve sending an email or a text message or a WhatsApp message to the number and the email or the email that is on the document that's attached to this video. That will enable us to lay out the chairs and allocate you seating on those evenings to make seating really simple. It will also allow us to have a track and trace facility in place. Should somebody catch something, then we will be able to see who was there on that evening and how many people could have been exposed to that. So that is why we're asking you to do that. That will be a great help to us, and it will also help us keep you safe. When you enter the building through the main doors on those evenings, we are asking that you maintain the 1.5 metre social distance guidelines that the government have set in place for such gatherings. Please maintain that at all times. Refrain from hugging, handshakes, kissing, whatever. Refrain from any sort of physical contact throughout your coming into those services and being a part of those services. That's going to be difficult for us because most of us are huggers, and our welcome team are always extremely friendly, but we are not able to do any of that handshake, fist pump, hugs at this stage. What will be available, and your only source of welcome team on those evenings, will be somebody at the door with a hand sanitizing spray, and they will spray your hands quickly as you enter the building so that your hands can be sanitized as you come in. There will also be stations set up throughout the building and into the main auditorium where we are going to be gathering on those evenings, so please do avail of those hand sanitizers. The toilets will be operational as usual, so you don't need to worry about that. We will be facilitating that, and again, hand sanitizers will be in the toilet and also outside it, so please do use those as you come in. We would ask that if you are suffering from any symptoms or temperatures or coughs or whatever, please refrain from attending at this stage. You are well aware of the dangers that are posed with this virus, and we don't want to put anyone at risk at all. Certainly do notify us so that we can care for you and be in touch with you and also pray for you, but please do not attend the gatherings. Another thing we're asking you to do, and this is probably the most controversial thing, and some people will find it very restricting, but with the scientific evidence that is out there, through conversations with our own leadership team and also those of our own Elim movement, we are making it mandatory for anyone attending these services to wear a face mask at all times. Please bring your own if you have one and wear it coming into the building, or else get one of the ones that we have provided at the front door. Singing and praying and speaking out loud in enclosed spaces are some of the most highest risk things that you can do. So we want to be taking measures that are necessary to mitigate that risk. So please do be understanding about that. I know that this has been one of the areas that has caused a great stir in our nation and around the world, and probably some of you watching this are thinking, well, I don't want to do that, and have all of those objections. But as a leadership team, we are aware that within our church there are going to be people who see this guidance and these guidelines and recommendations as far too restrictive, and there are going to be others who see them as far too lax and are maybe wondering why we are having services at all. So there's going to be a wide scope of people with different understandings, but what we want to do is have a uniform approach together so that there will be no confusion, there will be no difficulty, there will be no frustration with one another when you gather. Everyone will be wearing masks, and that is the way that it has to be. Now, if you are exempt from wearing masks because of medical reasons or advice that you have been given by your doctors, please do chat to one of the leadership team before attending, and we will have a chat with you through that. The only people in our services, both during the prayer times in August and then into September, if nothing changes, that will be exempt from wearing face masks are those people who spend the entirety of the service on the stage. That means that they will be on the stage as you arrive, they will still be on the stage as you leave, and they will be at all times at least 4 meters from anyone who comes into the building. That will include those people on the stage to lead worship and also preach. So there'll be a distance at all times that is sufficient to mitigate risk, but everybody else will be required to wear face masks. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you understand what that means, and hopefully you're happy enough to adhere to it. But let me just say, if this guidance or recommendations or the things that we have put in place seem far too strict for you and you would not feel comfortable coming into a church environment with these things in place, then we totally understand that. But as a leadership team, we have to put things in place that we think are best going to protect people. Also, if you have any concerns whatsoever and you at this stage don't feel like you can attend services because of your own health, you feel particularly vulnerable, maybe you have somebody in your friendship circle or family circle who is vulnerable and you're not comfortable at this stage attending services, then that is totally your decision. There is no pressure whatsoever from us as a church to have you attend these gatherings. It is totally your decision to make before God, and that is fine. You know our heart on this has been throughout this period of time absolute freedom for you to do what you think is best and what you need to do at this time, and that is absolutely right and proper. We know that there are people within our fellowship that are working in hospitals or care homes. We know for them services at this time aren't going to be possible because they're not going to want to put people at risk either in their workplace or within a church context. So whatever you need to do and whatever you feel is right for you to do and for your family, then you do that. So we're excited to be able to open our doors again in some way during the month of August on these Wednesday nights. And we would ask that you would sign up so that we know that you're coming at least the day before you plan on attending. When you're letting us know that you're coming, also let us know who is coming with you and the numbers of people there as well. Give us your name so that we can take that down and then we can mark you as you come in. Also, please do see the document attached to this video. It will give you some more details and hopefully some more clarity should you need it, should I have missed anything or you find that something isn't covered here in the details that I've given you. In all of this, with all of this being said, church, we are still the church. We are still God's people in our world throughout this time. And I've reiterated over this season that whether we are meeting in a building or not, that does not take away from the fact that God is with us, that God is in us, that God is for us. And I firmly believe that He will lead us with wisdom and with grace and with power as we step into this next season. This phase of transition and making our way back to gathering again and all of that is just that. It is a phase. Things will look a bit different, and that's okay. But we need to take these steps, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, as we seek to move back into some sort of normality. So please do be patient. As I said earlier, there are people watching this who will not be very happy that we're not able to do certain things, and there will be other people who are not very happy that we're doing anything at all. That's just the way that it's going to be. There will be differences of opinions, and that's okay. But please do have sensitivity towards and grace towards the people who are trying to lead you in the best way possible for your safety, for God's glory, for the testimony that we have within our community, and ultimately for the extension of God's kingdom. The attitude that I spoke about yesterday is an attitude of humility and preferring others before ourselves. And this whole last few months and the whole corona thing has really given us an opportunity to prefer one another above ourselves. But as we transition, make sure that we don't forget that should always be our attitude. So hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully you understand where we're coming from and where we're trying to go, and hopefully you're coming with us. Bless you. Please do read the document. Please do get in touch if anything is unclear. And hopefully we'll see you soon, whether it's in August in our prayer times or in September when we're able to go back to gathering again. That is our plan. That is our desire. And with that, I would say goodbye and bless you.